What's up, Rams fans, and welcome back into the Rams house. And today we got a special live stream because it's not just going to be me doing all of the talking on the stream. We're obviously going to be talking about Rams versus Texans, very much anticipated preseason game with all the standouts we saw from last game. But who better to join me and talk about the Rams and talk about Rams versus Texans preseason than my good friend Payo Time, great guy, great Rams YouTuber. If you are not subscribed to him, I put his link to his channel in the description. Definitely go check him out. But without further ado, let's just get back into this and talk some Rams football. What's up, Payo Time?
Hey, what's up, Rams house? Thanks for having me on the show. Hello, Ramley and other NFL family. We're talking some Rams tonight. There's never been a better time to be a Rams fan. It's just we are still defending, we're still Super Bowl champions. We become defending once the season starts. That's my humble opinion. But we're Super Bowl champions. We love it. And hey, a nice jersey.
Thank you. I mean, I thought it was pretty original picking Cup. I don't know. I know somebody
Wow.
else who has a Cup jersey. I don't know who that is, but
How embarrassing! We both wore a Cooper Cup jersey the same day, same stream.
no better player to represent at the same time, though, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously, Payo, we're going to be talking about the Rams-Texans game. Not going to be doing like the same type of preview that I do in the regular season where I like break down how the Rams going to win this game, because I see so many Rams fans talk about like they get frustrated if we lose or they're super happy if we win. But at the end of the day, it's preseason. Wins and losses don't really matter. It's really about the players and winning out for the position. So I'll throw this question to you. What player or players are you looking forward to watching, or even position groups heading into this Texans game?
You know, I've really enjoyed this preseason. Like I really enjoyed the first preseason game. That like I did a watch party for it, and it was just it was a fantastic game to watch. A lot of fun, and I've mentioned that when you don't have your starters playing, it takes the pressure of like injuries out of it, and you can really just enjoy the game more,
Yeah.
knowing that these are guys that are trying to make your roster. They're trying to get good film so that they might get picked up by another team. Obviously, you got to talk about Lance McCutchen. Just a phenomenal performance. Can he do it again? That's the big question mark. And someone is getting cut from this Rams wide receiving core, and they're going to get picked up by another team. And I'm really curious to see, is that Lance McCutchen? Is it Ben Saronic? Is Jacob Harris in danger of being cut? Who knows? But so definitely him. I'm excited to see our young secondary and just any of our young pass rushers. I would really love to see Chris Garrett. I know you're a big fan of him.
Yeah.
And so I'd love to see him get some more reps and see if he can, have some solid performances against the Texans. And obviously, the thing that the entire Ramley is just overreacting to, and I love it. We get to see the Wolf of Ball Street, John Wolford, taking snaps, and it's exciting to see him go into a game as the starter, and he'll assuming he'll get to run the offense. And that's the thing about preseason. You really don't care about winning or losing, but you do care about situational football.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing. Let's see. Like we've seen Perkins command the huddle really well last game. Let's see how Wolford does commanding that huddle.
Yeah, those are some good ones. I have a quick question for you, just regarding, because you brought up Chris Garrett. If people have been subscribed to my channel, they know that I really like Chris Garrett. Why do you think he didn't play last week? Do you think it's a situation where it's like, okay, we like him as a 2 or 3. He doesn't really need to prove anything? Because to me, that was interesting because he's heading into his second year. He didn't really get any playing time in the regular season. Why do you think that was that he didn't play?
There was a couple of head scratchers like that where we really thought we'd see Tutu Atwell. Didn't play. We thought we'd see Ben Saronic. Didn't play. We thought we'd see Chris Garrett. No, didn't play. And you wonder, there's two trains of thoughts that come to my mind. Is it's either the coaching staff knowing what they have in that player, and they don't want to risk injury, and they want to see other players. I don't believe that Chris Garrett would be someone that's at risk of getting cut, which I guess would be kind of the third option. Or the second thing is they really just didn't, when they were game planning for the preseason, they didn't include Chris Garrett in that game plan. And perhaps maybe against the Texans, he'll get more snaps, he'll get some more playing time. And it would just be like, a kind of a coach evaluation decision.
Yeah, that's a good answer because it was interesting too because we knew that we'd see Daniel Hardy and everything. He actually played really well.
Really
But
well.
a guy that to me that shocked me, who I had no idea who it was Benton Whitley, number
Yeah.
51 coming off the edge. But he's actually doing a really, really solid job. But I was just curious just to hear your insight on that because it's like just in general, whenever you think the Rams are going to do one thing, they do the other thing. They're always different from everybody else. So at this point, we shouldn't be shocked with seeing things like this. But I was just a little bit curious to hear your answer.
And I think all the Rams pass rushers that were kind of in that lower on the depth chart that we just never hear about. It seems it was cool to see them. They put pressure on whoever the Chargers quarterback was. I already forget the name.
Chase Daniel, something like that.
Yeah, it was Chase Daniel. Yeah. And it was exciting to see that. And I think with this Rams team, we know that Donald is good at collapsing the interior pocket. So if he can get help from the outside from those rotational pass rushers, this Rams defense can put away a game early.
Oh yeah.
And because we know the Rams offense is going to score, and if the defense is making that they take away the run game and they make it so that the quarterback can really only use three-step drops at max. That's kind of the winning formula for this Rams team the past couple of years on defense. And so, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, good answers there. I just want to get into the chat here quick.
Shout out to everybody in the chat.
I know there's a lot of people in here. Last time I got behind and it took till the end of the stream to be able to catch up. So I don't know if I'll answer all the questions right away just because we got to get to more players, but I'll definitely shout out the people in here. We got JJ Fording, Poor Soul Studios, welcome in. We have Ken P here, welcome in as well. Thank you so much for coming in. We have Mark. I don't know how to say his last name there. That's a new name.
Here, I think.
And then Mr. Movies ×2 and Bob and TS. We got some interesting names here. And then the classic Johnny Ripple. He's always faithful to the Rams house. Yeah, and I think that's everybody in here. So we'll get to your comments and your questions definitely a little bit later, but we'll talk a little bit here at the start. But thank you to everybody who has come in here. For me, the players that go ahead.
I just want to say Mark brought up someone that we hadn't talked about that I do have to say, Jake Funk.
Oh yeah.
He looked great. And I want to see more of him. We love the Funk.
Yeah. Especially because I kind of feel bad for him because he's always getting reps with backup offensive linemen. It's not that they're terrible, but they're not number one starters and everything like that. So he doesn't have a lot of room and everything. But yeah, I agree with you. He was looking really patient and finding those holes, but definitely an unsung hero because he didn't put a lot of yards up, but I thought the plays he did get were really good. Mm-hmm. For me though, heading into this game, the position group / players that I'm looking forward to, we already talked about Mccutchen. That's going to be fun to see if he can follow it up because I know that sometimes for some players they can have those really good games and then just it's just silence for the rest of it. They don't do anything else. And so I think it's kind of fun to watch players see how they react when they have all that attention, when teams are okay, we know who this guy is. They're more ready for him and see how he can respond that way. So obviously get that one out of the way. That one's an obvious one. For me, I'm still really excited to see the defensive back group and more specifically the cornerbacks with Darion Kendrick and Jacoby Durant. Those guys, I was a little bit disappointed, but I was also really excited when I saw Darion Kendrick almost get that pick six because you heard all training camp how he was making these big plays, getting these big turnovers, and then you already saw a little glimpse of how he's a playmaker type of corner. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. He seems to he's my favorite cornerback out of the two so far, in what I've seen. So it's going to be those guys for sure. And then the edge rushers, I think that just kind of speaks for itself. I want to see Chris Garrett. Is he going to get any time or not? I'm not sure. But I really want to see how the edge rushers follow up in this game as well.
Mm-hmm. And I think that the reality is a lot of the players that are playing in these games will be on the Rams special teams unit. So yeah. I think that's another component to it, right? They're not just third and fourth string players. They're going to get playing. They're going to be starters on special teams on kick and punt return, and obviously punt block and kick block. I don't know what you call it. Anyway, and so That's something else to consider and watch when we're watching these players. And we know that the cuts are coming, and you feel for these players from the human perspective because this is their dream, they're pursuing it, and you want to cheer them on for it. And the reality is, some talent's getting cut. The Rams have a talented camp this year, and some are going to get cut. They're going to get picked up by other teams, and it's going to be really interesting to see it.
Yeah, and I think that when you talk about it, like with players like Mccutchen, a lot of Rams fans are like, we gotta keep him. He's doing, or as you guys were calling him on the stream yesterday, McCluckin or something like that, or McChicken.
I get tongue twisted.
No, I understand that too because I've done that too. But
Mccutchen.
yeah, Mccutchen. That's a good nickname for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, like for a player like him, as much as I want to keep him, and see what he's able to do, if the Rams ended up like practice squatting him and another team ended up grabbing him, or if he got cut in another team, like if the Rams do it where they don't keep him on the 53, I feel like he's going to get a starting job somewhere else. And then in that case, if somebody else picks him up, it's probably a receiver core that's a little bit thinner where he gets more opportunities. So for me, unless like he's just going absolutely crazy every single game, if he ends up on another team, I'm just happy for him. Because who knows how much playing time he'll get on this Rams team as much as I like him. But it was only one preseason game. Don't want to overreact. I kind of learned from Jacob Harris last year not to get too caught up into the hype of things like that. So we'll see how he ends up doing. But bottom line is like I feel like if he ends up getting cut, like a majority of Rams players end up getting picked up just because of who they play for. We just have a talented roster, but also they come from a Super Bowl winning team, a great culture and everything. So hopefully the best ends up happening for him.
Absolutely. Yeah. I have a quick question for you though in regards to McCutchen. I saw this comment in one of my live streams. I didn't know how to answer it, so I just skipped it like a good YouTuber. But so the comment was brought up so McCutchen had a great game. Mm-hmm. Let's say he didn't play and it was Ben Skoranek in his same role. Do you believe that Ben Skoranek could dominate a game like that, even at the preseason level? From what we've seen.
Like if he was put in the position that McCutchen was, do I think he would have had that type of game?
Yeah.
It's really tough to tell because it's like last season, he obviously looked really raw. He didn't have the best routes in there. He looked a little bit awkward and everything. So everything we saw from last season wouldn't really suggest that. But at the same time, if you think about it, he's going up against like more of the backup caliber team. Like they didn't have their starters out there, so that gives them a better chance. I don't think him having as many of like the highlight reel type of plays as McCutchen did. And like the fact of the matter, like for me, the way I think that is just because he's not really a guy to show him like when Stafford threw it deep to him or it's like 50-50 balls. He's not been a guy who's been showing that he's going to go up and get it, make the effort, come down with it. Not the best contested catch guy, let alone like normal catches. I'm sorry. It's just true. Like from last season, he could improve and everything. But yeah, like for me, if I look at it in that way, the catches that McCutchen was having and the big plays he was having were really talented plays. And it was like his stature, he knew how to use it well enough to be able to come down with the football. That's where he got a lot of his yards and the touchdowns that he got. So for me, if he had a big game, it wouldn't have been in the same way because although Skoranek is a bigger receiver, I do think that he doesn't use his body as well, at least yet. He could get better. But that's my answer. What do you think though?
I am someone who defends Ben Skoranek more than most Ram fans. I believe young players can get better. That's one of the beautiful things about football and anything in life, really. And I am quick to mention if Ben Skoranek doesn't help convert that fourth down against Baltimore last year, we don't win that game. So we've seen some great moments. We've seen some not so great moments as well. And when people mention Ben Skoranek, my first image is the one kickoff return he did that just so awkward.
That was painful.
It's just like, why is Ben Skoranek on kick return?
It's like we just need to pencil someone in there, right?
Yeah, it was awkward. But so at the same time, like he's a 7th round draft pick. And the Rams really have not cut many draft picks the past number of years. The stat that I often say that blows my mind every time I think about it is between the year 2018 and 2021, the Rams drafted 28 players, and 21 of them are still with the team.
That says a lot.
And that's no first round picks and not many
Mhm.
second rounds, right? Like that's like mostly third and fourth round picks and even later rounds. And so yeah, it's just it would be a statement if Ben Skoranek were to get cut, but I think he is at risk of getting cut.
Mhm.
I think both him and Jacob Harris, that is a potential that we see happens. That their time with the Rams might end soon. It might not, but something to definitely keep an eye on for sure.
And I think that like for Skoronek's case, I think it's good he wasn't playing in the preseason because usually Sean McVay, like we know he doesn't like to play starters, which I'm all for that.
Yeah,
I think that if Skoronek was like on the risk of being cut, he'd probably be out there a little bit more. Um, it's just that, like the image that comes to my mind when I think of Skoronek is that deep one in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers that would have put us up. Yeah, it hurts, but like you said, he did make plays throughout the season. It was like in little areas, and also a lot of the times, what people forget about is against Baltimore. In that game, you talked about the one where he caught it and he converted that first down, but also the game-winning touchdown with Odell. He was the guy who's ended up setting that pick, and he did it
you're
in the
right.
right way. It wasn't
Yeah,
illegal, so like he does things well, and yeah, he's raw and everything. But what I tell Rams fans a lot of the times is like, as much as it was painful to see what happened last year with him, you have to understand where he was drafted and how he was not expected to be getting this much playing time. It was just because of
yeah,
injuries and situational stuff like that. So obviously, if you're in the NFL, you have to be ready for anything to be able to play and everything like that. But just like if I'm looking at it from his perspective, he wasn't supposed to be a guy who was ready and like was a complete receiver. It's just like us Rams fans were spoiled. We have great players and everything all around. Where it's like this guy stinks. He's doing this and that, but got to give him time to grow for sure.
absolutely. Yeah.
So do you have any other players to watch out for? Because then other than that, we have a lot of people in the chat if you want to get to questions.
Yeah, let's take a couple questions from the chat. I want to hear what the Ramley is talking about.
All right. So let's see. Let's go. I'm pretty far behind you, so we'll start from the back. He says Rams house repeat. The Wolf gonna light him up. Who's gonna run ball season? Or preseason? Rose Rios, Kieran Funk. Oh, I think you're saying
Rose,
Rose.
yeah,
Okay,
Rose.
Rose, and then yeah, I think I saw something that said that Kyron Williams wouldn't play this preseason game, but potentially next one. Funk, I do think he'll get some playing time though. What do you have to say about that?
And I know that Mark is a big fan of John Wolford, and he's always asking me to do the Wolf House.
I see.
uh, and I'm hoping John Wolford throws a touchdown, and I can do that on the next watch party. But yeah, I agree. I think we'll see a bunch of Rose and Funk, and yeah, I am serious when, and I'm going to say something that maybe some people will disagree with. When I saw Jake Funk's performance, it actually reminded me of another Rams running back we saw not too long ago who made a name in the preseason, Malcolm Brown, as someone who no one was talking about, but he played every preseason game. He played hard. He played well. He picked up his blocking assignments, and he kept on churning those legs. And if you look at the way Jake Funk ran in that preseason game versus the limited time we saw Jake Funk last year, he's definitely improved.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you, and that's a name I haven't heard in a while, but definitely a good contributor there. And again, like I still think he deserves a shout out for what he was able to do when we weren't blogging the best, when we didn't have starters in.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's still a good thing to be able to do, but I think he was like showing a lot of like what complete players show. He wasn't just doing one thing well. He obviously had that first down on the screen. He was running it well, and then I did see him pick up a couple of those good pass blocks too. So that's a good shout out there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And then this is a nice comment here. Says this is awesome. Two of my favorite Rams content creators. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you for supporting us.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Yeah, so fun to be able to just talk Rams, and obviously you don't
absolutely.
get paid a lot, but you get paid for doing it. So
Yeah.
let's see. Johnny Ripple says looks like I was wrong about the QB2 competition. That said people need to mellow out about Perkins. Interesting. So Johnny Ripple, do you prefer Perkins or do you prefer Wolford? What do you have to say about that, Payo? Because I know we talked about that off screen, but I
Yeah.
don't think anybody heard what you had to say about that.
And honestly, everyone in the chat, can you put a Perkins or Wolford in the chat? And I would love to see
Yeah, let's maybe I think I can make a poll. Let me
make it
see.
a pull that
I'm
up.
not
Yeah,
sure. Let's see.
I am of the mindset of I trust the coaching staff. If the coaching staff said that Perkins was the backup, I'll be honest. I trust them, and I have not always trust the Rams coaching staff. In the Sean McVay area, I mostly have. The previous like 5 regimes, no, I did not.
No.
But it's so nice to have a coaching staff that you can trust as a fan. And I think Perkins, like he's played well enough from what we've seen to make it an argument, to make it a discussion. And we talked off camera, but I think I do believe that Wolford is still the backup, and I do believe that Sean McVay in his press conference today he mentioned how he feels to best set Wolford up for success if Stafford ever were to go down. He should get some more playing time. It'd be good for him, and I think that's just a smart coach doing a smart thing.
Yeah.
But the twist that you could read into that, which I feel like a lot of Ram fans is Perkins played so well that he might overtake John Wolford. And I am quickly someone to remind people that John Wolford played at a very high level in the USFL. He did beat out Blake Bortles, who in a backup quarterback competition, that's no small feat for an undrafted quarterback that was selling insurance at one point. And then, I know it's controversial, but the reality is Jared Goff got benched for him in a playoff game. It was one of the most awkward Sean McVay and Jared Goff press conferences ever. And it kind of was the big tell of like something's not right between these people.
Yeah.
So the coaching staff clearly trusts Wolford. They clearly like something. And I think something that they see that we don't get to see because of the limited playing time is Wolford's football IQ. And I think he has a good grasp of the offense, and that because he does play well in practice, that's something that we maybe don't see as much as Ram fans. But if it is a competition, I'm here for it.
Yeah, Wolford always has a soft spot in my heart for a bunch of different reasons, and so I'll always really like Wolford. And you have it right. The Rams like something about him. Otherwise, they would have just kept 2 quarterbacks. And so there's obviously they like both quarterbacks because we kept 3 quarterbacks last season. Who knows if we do that again? At the end of the day, I'm happy with whichever one ends up being QB2. I don't think there's that much of a drop off. Whoever we have, like if you pick Wolford or Perkins.
I think they're very different styles of play, but we can have success with both.
Yeah, and like
need be, yeah.
It's not like one's really elite and one's just like average. Like they, in my opinion, they have great talent, but you put it in a good way. They use it in a different way, and so for me, I don't really have too much of a preference. Like I definitely will say that the more I've seen Perkins in the last 2 preseasons, I've liked his game more. But it's tough to say because we haven't seen Wolford since like the 2020 playoffs. So it's like it's been a while. So who see, but who ends up winning. But I'm just really glad that we'll be able to see Wolford out there instead of Perkins this time, and we'll be able to see them both.
Yeah, absolutely. We really haven't seen Wolford. Like the only times he came in last year, the game was well in hand, and he was there to kind of bleed out the clock. It's exciting to see him come in, and he's actually going to get to let loose a little bit.
Yeah. Let's see. Ken P asks, isn't Garrett from Texas? Whoops. Isn't Garrett from Texas? He'll play. Yeah, he is from Texas. I don't know how much of a factor that'll do with him playing and everything like that. I hope we get to be able to see him, like, even if we still see Whitley on the other edge and then Daniel Hardy, I hope we at least like rotate in Garrett because I definitely want to see him play. Let's see. Mark says, how about Jonah Williams? Good end. We gonna get guys poached again. Yeah, I think if you're a fan of the Rams, you just have to repair yourself from like getting players or coaches stolen. It's just something we get used to, right?
Well, and the reality is, if you're a bad team and you want to get better, you want to look at, hey, who's doing it right? Oh, the Rams are doing it
Yeah.
right. Let's get as much as we can of the like Rams leftovers over in here, right?
Then Hilltop Sasquatch fan
Hey,
page, welcome in. He says, "What's good, guys? Welcome in." And then, come on, House, you never heard Juicy. Oh, I think it's just because I didn't know how to pronounce his name.
yeah,
Yeah,
Conter.
some of these names here, like these usernames on YouTube, I'm like, how do you even say that? Like, I don't even know. I'm sorry, but let's see. Johnny Ripple says Mccutchen was not open on any of his catches. Can he get open against even third tier cornerbacks? That's actually what I talked about a lot because I was planning on making like an edited video about McCutchen, like who he is, his background, how he plays, and everything. I ended up converting it into a live stream just because like, I was having a lot of technical difficulties. But all that to say, I was going out when I was researching him and seeing what they're saying about him pre-draft, what he was able to do, and everything. I saw first off a big knock on him and why he went undrafted was his speed, but also another thing that knocked him and made him fall later in the draft and ended up going undrafted was he didn't have great route running. And Johnny Ripple's right about it. If you go back to his highlights in college, he wasn't a guy who had much separation because he can't run routes well combined with slow speed. So that's where I think the reason he's gotten to this point and making the plays that he is just because he's very smart when the football's in the air to be able to position himself. He has a very big catch radius to be able to come down with the football. So I think he's gotten to this point because he's great at making those contested catches and guys having draped over him and everything. But that's the good thing about the Rams. If he ends up making the roster, I think that he's around guys like Cooper Kupp. He's around guys like Allen Robinson, who love the minor details of the game. And if he really wants to learn, he can just hang out with those guys. He can go to the Breakfast Club with Stafford and Cup
Yeah.
and just learn a little bit about route running. So Johnny Ripple, that's a good observation. I don't know if you noticed that Payo time, but he's not the best route runner. He's not always open. But the big thing of how he's gotten to this point, in my opinion, at least, is he can make those catches and he can fight off defenders. But what are your thoughts on that?
I definitely think it's a great observation and a good take. And like the reality is, he had one good preseason game,
Yeah,
and it was a lot of fun to watch. It was a lot of fun to watch. But do I believe that he should be wide receiver 3? No.
yeah.
I think he's someone who's still raw in his talent. As you mentioned, still has plenty of areas for improvement. But with the Rams' current coaching regime and the players around him, that if he's someone that can commit to the system, can commit to the program, he'll have every opportunity to become an NFL caliber wide receiver.
Good point there. Yeah, I see a lot of people saying cut Ben Skoranek, keep McCutchen, put him at wide receiver 3. I think for me, at least, he's going to have to do a lot more to be able to work it. Like, that would be an incredible feat. If he just ends up becoming the wide receiver 3, obviously with Van Jefferson being hurt, I don't think he'd play over Van Jefferson by any means, but I feel like he would have to do a lot of stuff to be able to get it all the way up to that point. But as far as making the roster, I think if he has another game like he did last game, I think he makes the roster. That's my point of view, though.
I personally think with a game like that, he was able to secure at least a practice squad spot on some team.
Mm-hmm.
I think
he's definitely ending up on some team. That's for sure.
Yeah, like whether he's on a roster or a practice squad with a performance like that, that's kind of the floor of what he can at least expect. He did a great thing for his career with a game like that, and if he did another one, it would just skyrocket his value even more.
Let's see. I'm sorry, we're still super behind on the comments here, but it's just because we're like talking about Rams. But thank you everybody who's in here. Mark says, "Sup, Payo? Let's hear Rams house. Let's see what you got, Payo."
All right, whose house? Rams house.
That's like your trademark. You can get it in the chest there.
I just go a
Let's see.
Deep, right?
Let's see. It's trying to.
Rams house.
Yeah. So Johnny Ripple says McVay will want a backup QB who can run his offense the closest to normal and make plays from the pocket. Perkins running is fun, but not what McVay wants. If Wolford plays well from the pocket, ... and then that's it for Perkins. What are your thoughts on that, Payo? That's a pretty good point.
No, Johnny Ripple, he is one of my favorite Rams subscribers. Just I love the insight, and I've never met
Oh
him in
yeah.
person, but you could tell he's someone that you'd love to like sit down and just talk football with.
Oh
And
yeah.
I agree with that. That like, and maybe that is the key of what the Rams coaching staff really like about Wolford is that his skill set isn't so different from Stafford. He's, like in terms of an arm talent, he's not on Stafford's level, but he can run the offense in a similar manner. Where
Mhm.
Perkins is a different skill set. He obviously does bring a physical element that is a lot of fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
And I would even say if you compare like what we've seen of Perkins last year in the preseason to this year, I think you see his accuracy. He's getting his release out a little bit quicker. So, like, no discredit to Bryce Perkins' arm, and I think that's one of the reasons I'm really excited to see Wolford's arm at work in the next preseason game. But I think Johnny definitely brings up some really good points.
Oh yeah. Johnny's always like one of those guys. Like if I mess up, I know he's gonna correct me, like in a
Yep,
good way. Like he makes
yeah,
you better in that type of way.
absolutely.
He does bring up good points there, and I think that's another good point. Like Wolford, obviously, we know he can scramble and that he is mobile, which is what's fun to watch about him. But I wouldn't say he depends or uses it as much to the level that Perkins does. And I think part of that is going back to his work ethic. That's one of the reasons why I think he's on this Rams team. He seems to be a guy who just grinds and grinds and grinds and works hard, puts in the time after practice, goes to other places. Like he's uploading these videos on his Instagram on stuff like that,
Mhm.
practicing with the throw. So I think it's a good point, and I think he doesn't rely on his run game as much. That's not to say like that's not a knock on Perkins, but I think that's a good point because I know I was talking to you, and then what's his name? I forget. Ram Showcase. I was talking to both of you guys about how fun it would be to see a mobile quarterback, like a mobile starting quarterback in a Rams offense. Then you brought up a good point, saying like, well, there was this time where McVay was able to pick whatever quarterback he wanted, and he wanted to go for a pocket quarterback in Stafford. And so I think that does speak volumes in like what type of play style he likes.
Mhm, absolutely. Yeah.
Let's see what Neil says. Welcome in, Neil Gonzalez. Wait, thank you for
Yeah.
coming in. He says, "What's up, guys? Amelia is having a live also at the same time,
Oh,
hopping back
awesome.
and forth from the two vlogs. That's awesome. You never can have enough Rams content, right?"
Absolutely. I love Amelia. Oh, he's great.
Let's see. JJ 14 Poor Soul Studio says, "Really wish they'd expand the roster to 60 plus since players are still missing games because of human." Oh,
Yeah. That's funny, JJ40.
let's see. He's a funny guy.
I
This
am
is
a
funny.
fan of expanding the roster.
Yeah, I think it just helps in general.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's 53. Like that's just such a specific number, but I'd be fine with that. Let's see. No way, less than Sean cut a guy named Lance Mccutchen. One of the fellow McCutchens was a great running back in the 70s. I remember watching him. Awesome. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of questions talking about if they're related or not. Like they're like, wait, is this the same? Is he related to this guy? So interesting. I was kind of thinking the same thing though. I was looking it up. I was like, wait, is there like a relation or anything? Um, Stan the Ram fan says, "Good evening, gentlemen. Welcome in.
Hello, Stan.
We're catching up a little bit to these comments, Payo, one at a time."
One time.
Neil says it would be better for the Rams if McCutchen if picked up by a team, it would be an AFC team. Yeah, it would be better if he was picked up by an AFC team for sure.
So I saw in I think it was a Rams subreddit, and the idea I saw was for a team like the Ravens to like trade a draft pick for him. And I don't think that's totally crazy. And we got a I think we got a conditional 7th round pick last season for trading Corey Bajorquez, the punter. So like I don't think it's totally ridiculous to like get a very low draft pick because the Rams love getting those late round draft picks so they can take a flyer on a guy with. But yeah, definitely. You hope he would go to an AFC team if he goes somewhere.
Imagine if somehow the Ram like if he just goes off in all the next preseason games. Imagine if the Rams get like 3 first-round picks or something, just swap their system back on themselves. Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely think it'd be a later round pick or something like that.
definitely.
Um, I
Well,
it's
and
kind of
I'd also I'd be nervous if he gets picked up by an AFC West team just because we play that division this year.
I
And that
know.
division's already stacked.
Yeah,
They
and
have
we know what
big
especially
quarterbacks.
especially if you went to a team like the Chiefs, like Andy Reid is such a good coach as far as using every player on the team. It's
Yeah, I
like,
don't want
oh
that. Yeah.
no, I don't want that either. It's kind of I like as far as trades go for the Rams, as if they're offloading their players for picks, it's always like one thing I don't like about that is I always feel like we get low value back. Like with Robert Woods and
The
Michael
Kenny
Brockers,
Young
we got low value.
trade.
Oh yeah, I know that one hurt you a little bit too.
He was one
But
of my
like
favorite players.
I it's like you can't keep good things, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it feels like with a lot of the trades that we make, as far as like offloading players, not trying to make them, like we get very minimal back. But when we're making trades, it's like you can have our house if you want, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Overpay,
Um,
but don't overcharge. Yeah.
yeah. Let's see. Carlos says McCutchen can ball it. You can see he has it and can find the ball in a better position than Jacob Harris. Harris didn't have the same look in preseason that McCutchen has looked in game one. Yeah, and or in one game you said that's something that I noticed too. Again, I want to keep saying it was just one game in preseason, so if he doesn't do it, like don't get too frustrated. But I think he has a good point there. Like Harrison, the balls he was getting, he didn't use his body positioning right to go up and get it. But there's still obviously time for him to improve for sure.
Well, and I think that one of the things that Ram fans got really excited about Jacob Harris last year was that he was this big bodied guy, but also had a speed element to his game
At
and
tight
and,
end.
and at tight end. And so you would hope that he can develop that. Obviously, with getting injured and he has to recover from that, there's that concern as well. But yeah, Jacob Harris is someone I'd like to see more from for sure.
We have another great comment here by Johnny Ripple. He says, "Hate to tell you guys, the best receiver in terms of routes and getting open versus the Chargers was Trammell. I keep on not knowing how to pronounce his name right, but I know who he's talking about. Number 4 on the offense says if McCutchen struggles to get open versus Scrubs, and then dot dot dot. He doesn't say anything else, but I agree. I saw a lot of people saying like, "Oh, Trammell's like the new Cooper Cup. Look at the route running. He's doing great in like." I wouldn't go that far yet, but he definitely was getting open, and he was a guy who's dominating on the inside to medium route. So I agree with you on that as far as like the route running.
Yeah, I guess just McCutchen with the 2 touchdown kind of steals the show.
Yeah, and like you have to admit, like a 4-yard dump off in out or curl isn't as exciting as like a 60-yard touchdown where
Yeah.
he goes through 2 defenders.
And
Like
okay, I had a friend point out to me, and it's one of those things that the reality is McCutchen may have not got that touchdown. The second defender for the Chargers did prevent the
tackle.
first, like they kind of ran into each other. So like it's still a fantastic play by McCutchen, but like there was some circumstantial help to it too.
It almost reminded me of that in that divisional game with the Vikings and Saints when the Saints guy took out his own player and then Diggs went for a touchdown.
Yeah,
It reminded me of that. It's like, why'd you hit your own teammate? Like,
yeah, no, yeah.
let's see. Johnny Ripple says McVay praised Sko today. Said he has been having great practices for whatever that's worth.
And so it's one of those things. There has to be something there. And Johnny Ripple, thanks for bringing this up. There has to
Yeah.
be something there because we know the Rams don't put players in preseason that they know are going to make the roster,
Mm-hmm.
like or they feel they don't need reps. And I feel like all Ram fans were talking about leading up to the first preseason game was seeing Ben Saronic, seeing Tutu Atwell, seeing Chris Garrett. We didn't see any of them, right? And so yeah, I think that there definitely has to be something to McVay praising them in practice, and they must be balling out in practice. And I don't know. I am hoping to see some of them in preseason, at some point, even for a series.
Well, the thing for me is like, I don't know if you remember this last year, but Skoranek was a guy who was just like absolutely going off in like the training camps and OTAs, all of that. But like Torrey Holt was there and he said that you put him on the all hands team. Like all this
Yeah.
praise was coming for Ben Skoranek and talking about he's a guy who can go up, he'll come down with it. He has great hands, he can catch it. My thing with him, at least right now, is like I'm wondering if the moments were too big for him. Like if he's almost a little bit of a different player when he's on big stages or in a real game situation, because we heard tons of praise. I remember when doing the What We Learned series last year with the training camp and going over the articles. Skoranek was in almost every single one, and he was always being
Yeah.
talked about a guy who is a standout in camp and everything. So obviously, he doesn't have to prove anything to me as a fan who watches on the couch. He has to prove things to the Rams, and it sounds like he's doing great in practice. But I'm really curious to see how he does in a game setting, just because I know we were hearing a lot of praise last year about it and what he's able to do in the camp. And again, he made some great plays. He had some great flashes in the games, but I'm really interested to see what ends up happening in more game settings.
And the reality is, outside of linebacker Ernest Jones, Ben Skoranek probably is the best rookie from the 2021 class. And now, given a lot of them were injured, but that's something that you got to give credit to Skoranek, and obviously he plays well at practice, but can he match up to game speed? That's something he's going to have to elevate.
You're talking about like best rookie as far as like on the offensive side, or
well, yeah, on the offense side, like that's what I'm saying. Like overall, you have like Ernest Jones. Who would you put over? Like it wasn't the greatest rookie class for the Rams. Not that we needed it, but
yeah, I think like the best player and like best contributor was definitely Ernest Jones. That's
absolutely, yeah.
I was just like, wait, did he forget about Ernest Jones? Does he forget?
No, I said
just
Ernest
making
Jones.
sure. Okay, just making sure. Yeah. Carlos says Mccutchen has the Randy Moss thing. He can go up and get the ball that can't be caught. Ask Jacob Harris Jacob Harris, he had how many fades last year in preseason? Sko can ball out. He needs to catch the ball. I think, yeah, I definitely think for guys who can go up and get it, who are bigger, who can come down with the football and everything like that, I think for them, they definitely need to learn like positioning and things a lot. That's like a big thing in positional awareness. Mccutchen definitely has that, but definitely needs to work on the route running. Johnny Ripple says, Sko, McCutchen, Harris, Trammell, Koski, 2 of these 4 end up on the practice squad.
Yeah.
Let's see. Stan the Rams fan says Skoranek probably feeling pressure, but he brought it on himself. Yeah, there's definitely like Payo Time always says he's always very supportive of Skoranek, which I'm glad about. He was a rookie and he wasn't expected to get a lot of playing time, and the good thing is young players can grow, right, Payo?
Young players get better sometimes.
Let's see, sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, here's another one. He says Trammell looks a bit like Kupp. I went back because I kept on getting this comment of how he looks like Cooper Kupp. Sometimes I feel like Rams fans can overreact a little bit with players and everything, myself included. I don't know if I see Cooper Kupp in there, but I don't know if they're just talking about route running or.
I'm looking at a picture of him right now. Like, there's some facial structural similarities. I wouldn't say it's like they're not twins here.
No. Yeah, I think like most of the people are saying that he's running routes like Kupp and like he's playing like Kupp.
That's a big statement.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't go there yet. Maybe like a really young Kupp. I don't know, but I think he definitely did look good in the route running as far as like the inside, outside, like underneath type of stuff. He wasn't really a vertical guy, but at the same time, a lot of the times when I saw he was getting open, it was kind of like deeper zone, so he could just kind of turn around and he was open. But definitely rooting for him for sure. Let's see. Mark says, "Yeah, Payo the wolf howl." Let's see. Skoranek had a major interception in the Super Bowl. I do hope he gets better. Yeah, that one made me lose like all hope. I thought we were gonna lose. I literally said it.
I keep forgetting about that because I love how we won the Super Bowl and I only focus on the highlights. But yeah, that was definitely a bad moment.
Well, you wouldn't have forgot about it if we lost the Super Bowl. That's for sure.
True. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
I literally said going into that drive to my dad, I was like, no, just watch out for Skoranek. It's going to go off his hands and get intercepted. And then the next play that happens. But all is well now. We won the Super Bowl. Yeah. I think if he can get his hands down, he can definitely be a better player because he does have some promise, but we'll see what ends up happening with him. Funk reminds him of Zach Stacy. Do you agree with that, Payo?
That's really interesting. I agree with that. Zach Stacy might have been a bit more of a kind of a power back than Funk.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like not far off. That
Yeah.
Like, and again, even like I remember saying Malcolm Brown reminded me of Zach Stacy in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So like, like I mentioned, Funk reminded me of Malcolm Brown earlier. So yeah, okay, yeah, I'd agree with that.
Let's see. Carlos says yes, but he's 6'3" and fast, goes up and gets the ball. See how he does the rest of the preseason. Definitely, just glad we got more games to see. Glad it's not just one preseason game, then we don't see whatever ends up
It's
happening.
also hilarious that we are like debating who is going to be like the wide receiver 4, 5, and 6. And it's like, you want to talk about rich people problems as a fan, like that's right. Like you look at like some of these other teams, they're like, oh man, who's going to be our wide receiver 2? Like,
Yeah, it's like as Rams fans, we get used to like having this type of life, but obviously at some point it's gonna all come down. But enjoying it right now.
not today, so we can enjoy it. Yeah.
Okay, so if this is any sort of gauge of how far we've caught up to the comments, this is when you asked about Perkins or Wolford. So this comment was from 7:20 my time. It's now 7:46 my time, so we're a little behind.
Like 20 minutes behind comments.
Yeah, I'm sorry, everybody. Thank you, everybody who's
you guys
coming.
are amazing.
Yeah, Carlos says he prefers Perkins. Ken prefers Perkins. Let's see. Whoops.
I'm seeing a lot of Perkins in the chat.
Yeah. Perkins adds something different, I feel, so I like him for that reason, but I love Wolford too. Yeah, I feel like you can't really go wrong with either one. Sorry, Wolf can't hit or can't take a hit can't take a scary hit when he runs. Yeah, I mean he did get injured in that Seahawks game, but that might have been like a fluke play. I still kind of hate Jamal Adams for that.
Yeah, and I still remember McVay talking about that, how like it was a bad play call, which McVay, he's quick to take that kind of responsibility on himself. But I actually think in that situation it probably was a pretty bad play call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they throw the flag, then they ended up taking it back, or it was something like that.
It's been so long since I've looked at that game. I have to rewatch it. Yeah.
All we know is that we ended up winning that one.
Yep,
Let's see.
Yep, and Seattle still loves it. Yeah. God,
Here's another. This is another thing about Johnny Ripple. He doesn't only have the facts, but he's also funny. He says if you combine Ramshouse's hair and Payo's beard, you'd have a full set of hair.
Yeah,
that'd be an interesting look. I can't even imagine that.
Would
honestly,
be interesting look, yeah.
Johnny Ripple also says, I'm not sold on either Wolford or Perkins, but coaches want to run their offense. McVay has alluded to this preseason who plays better. Yeah, I think he put it in a good way again. I think that Wolford runs the offense better, but Perkins is a different type of player. It really depends on your preference and what you like. But I feel like Perkins has a lot of fight, and like you can kind of see it when he breaks off 300-pound guys at the line of scrimmage and gets a first down. Like you can tell he wants to be on an NFL roster. So I like that about him, but they're definitely two different types of quarterbacks. Let's see. As far as I'm concerned, Jefferson has been put on notice also. Interesting. Come to the ball, son, or bye-bye. Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. I feel like Jefferson's more safe. I don't see anything happening.
I think Jefferson has a role in this offense. Even with his injury, I think like this is a contract year for him. I don't think Jefferson has been put on notice, but there is a chance that this is just Van Jefferson's final year with the Rams, just because we might not be able to re-sign him, and that's something that the Rams have to, they have to be thinking about.
Don't we have a couple more years on his contract because we drafted him in 2020, right? I think let's check on that because
I'm looking at it right now. I might have that.
He could be in his contract year. I could be wrong. Let's see. I'll read in the comments while you're looking that up. You can just let me know when you find it. From the pocket and pre-snap. Let's see. Last game of the preseason on Saturday, August 27th, 2022, Rams versus Bengals, Super Bowl 50 or 56 rematch at Paul Brown Stadium. That's going to be a fun one for sure.
That is going to be fun.
I think they changed the name too. I forgot what it was, but oh, you found it?
Yeah, I did. You're right. He has one. Yeah, because we drafted him in 2020. We have him signed until after the 2023 season. So yeah.
Okay. So he has a little bit of time. I still think.
Yeah.
like for if he was on any other team or most teams, he'd probably be the wide receiver 2, if not the wide receiver 1. Like it's just the fact he's on this Rams team that just continues to be loaded, but I still think he's a very underrated player. I think he had over 800 yards last year.
Yeah, and he's only 26 years old, right? Like he's coming right
Yeah.
into the prime of his career, and definitely hoping he he can ball out and continue to have success on the field for the Rams.
Let's see. Hope Wolford has learned to slide feet first.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a big thing for sure.
That's a big thing, yeah.
Let's see.
I will just say this about John Wolford. I don't know if you follow him on Instagram or if anyone does. He randomly posts like videos of his like what he's doing for training and stuff, and like I know he does a lot of altitude training, which is always cool to see.
Yeah. And that will definitely help. I should just invite John Wolford to come out here to Colorado and train with me, right? Like,
let me provide the place for you to do your altitude training.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a good enough wide receiver, right, John Wolford, right? I don't know. San Rams fan says Bengals wouldn't see not one Rams starter that game. Yeah, there's not going to be any starters in any preseason, especially under Sean McVay.
Yep, that's the way.
Yeah, a lot of people criticize it, but I'm like, I'll take health over that.
Yep.
He caught what 6 to 7 balls. Are you talking about Mccutchen or? I think he's talking about Mccutchen. It's so hard to tell because this is like 20 minutes back, but
we're so far behind the comments.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I should go all the way down to the bottom to the newest ones or if we should continue. There's a strategy to this. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, let's try. We'll go rapid fire through some. I think the Ramley will forgive us for going rapid fire here.
All right, so skip a lot. Well, actually, I have to shout out Ramelia because he's in here, and then we'll go down to there.
Hey, Ramelia!
So, welcome in, Ramelia. Yeah, that's right. Welcome in, Ramelia. I don't even know if you're still here because we're so far behind, but thank you for past Ramelia. Thank you for coming in. And if you guys have not subscribed to him, he's a great Rams content creator. It's so cool how we have so many good Rams creators here on. It used to just be Rams talk.
I said I'm gonna get to meet Ramelia in person.
Really? At that Falcons?
Yeah, I'm going to the Falcons game, and so I'm gonna definitely go and meet up with him pregame.
That's actually awesome. You should just do like a live stream there.
We'll do something together. Yeah,
you have to do something. And then just last thing here, Rams super fan says, "Great stream, guys, at Rams House and Payo."
Good to see you.
All right, I'm sorry to everybody who I didn't answer your questions in here. We just got too far behind. That might be my bad, but let's go to rapid fire questions. Like Payo Time says, if you have anything that you want us to answer, you can definitely drop them right now. While we're waiting, though, here's Johnny. If you guys don't know who Johnny is, he is my brother, but he also did go on Payo Time's Move series, and Payo Time interviewed him as a Bengals fan. So welcome in. He says 2 legendary Rams YouTubers in on one stream. Yeah, that's right. You should just jump in here, have a good Bengals guy in here too. While we're waiting for the rapid fire questions, Neil Gonzalez says, "Thanks guys for doing what you do. Rams community is growing. Go Rams." That's for sure. Not only the fan base is growing, but the community is growing. Like it's crazy that I remember when it used to just be Rams talk on here, and that was like the only guy you could go to. But now there's so many different people to go to. It's so cool.
Well, and even like seeing the videos coming out of Rams training camp that like over 100,000 people showing up.
Yeah.
We would have had that as a Rams like
camp.
Like, well, that's amazing. Like
people criticize us for a small fan base.
Oh no, they'll learn. The Ramley's growing. It's growing.
Yeah, it is. Let's see. If you can't come back when M9 needs you, and you don't fight or the ball, you're no good to Glock. Interesting. I think that comment was supposed to be funny, but I read it wrong. Sean Pittman says, "Subscribe to both of you gentlemen. Go Rams." Thank you so much, Sean. I appreciate it. Let's see. As well as a 5th-year option for Van. So yeah, good insight there, JJ. Glad it's not his last year. I'm glad that we get to see more Van Jefferson.
I don't think there is a 5th-year option because he's not a first-round pick.
That's true. So the Rams don't have any first-round picks.
Yeah, that's the one thing about.
I don't know. Is that a rule where it's only for?
I don't consider
is that some sort of?
But I'm pretty sure that's the advantage. Like that's why teams will trade up into the late first round to get a player so that they have that 5th-year option on it.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I know a lot about football, but when it comes to like salary cap and different things like that, I'm definitely a little bit more fuzzy. Rudy Ramirez says, "Whose house?" That's right,
Rams.
Rams house. And you'll
Yeah.
be able to go to the Rams house in the regular season. I bet you're excited out of your mind for
I
that.
so I'll full disclosure. I'm going to the week beforehand. I'm going to do a bunch of stuff in LA, and yeah, I'm pumped to go to SoFi and just after the game, I plan on just hanging out there as long as possible, just to take it all in. Because I live in Canada near Toronto. I've never been to a Rams home game before. I've been to lots of their away games here on the East Coast, but I'm pumped to go to my first Rams home game.
No better place than SoFi Stadium, right? Like
Absolutely.
the Coliseum's cool as far as the history and everything, but I don't know. SoFi Stadium's just something different.
Mhm.
Let's see. I belong to all of y'all. I subscribe to every Rams, Dodgers, Lakers podcast. That's awesome. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Stan.
Let's see. Johnny Ripple says heading to Colorado for a show in September. Any recommendations for a good place to eat? That's actually a tough one because I'm actually somebody who eats like a lot of like the common types of restaurants that you could probably find in other parts of the states. It also depends on where in Colorado you're gonna be in. I really like Rustica Pizza. It's a really good pizza place up in Manitou near the mountains. I really like that place. I'm kind of generic though as far as restaurants. Like I like a lot of places like Qdoba, Chick-fil-A, Subway, different things like that. Like some of the more common ones, but I think Rustica is like one of my favorite kind of out of the box ones. You can get your pizza, you can eat outside by the mountains, everything. It's a really cool place. Let's see. If we had Sheriff Joe Bags in here, he could answer too because he lives in Colorado.
Yeah.
Let's see. What game are you going to, Payo? Is what Johnny Ripple asks.
Falcons game. Yeah, week 2.
That's a good one to pick too because there's a pretty high chance that we're going to be able to win. Maybe we'll see a dominating win. Who knows?
Well, it's funny. Like, so I work in education, but I'm kind of on the administration side of it. And the September is like the best month of the year for me to take vacation. Which for literally everyone else, September is like this. There's lots going on, and it's not a good year. But yeah, so it worked out for me. I'm really excited to spend 10 days in LA.
That's gonna be a good time. Definitely visit a beach, do all those things. That's gonna be fun. Let's see. While we're waiting, because there's not a lot of questions we can go back revisit. We'll be wrapping up pretty soon here. But CV Productions does ask, have you gone to a Broncos game? So actually, that was my first game that I went to last season. It was last preseason when we faced the Broncos. We didn't end up winning. But yeah, I did end up going that. That was my first Rams game, first NFL game. It was electric. I didn't really realize how different the environment is compared to the TV. Like the Broncos fans, whenever it's like on a third down, they're all stomping their feet on their ground and everything, so you can like feel the energy in the stadium. And there wasn't like it's a preseason game, so it's not like there's a ton of fans, but it was loud there. So
Cool.
I can't imagine what it's like at SoFi Stadium. Let's see. Romelia, we're going back up here. He says Mccutchen made 2 great catches in traffic, the deep ball in the sidelines and the jump ball with the guy draped all over him. I want to see him show out Friday too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's see. Getting pretty close to wrapping up here. Let me see if there's any other questions down here. No better place. I go to every game or home game. Let's go Ramley. That's awesome. I can't imagine like being a season ticket holder and just going to every home game. But also, there is something kind of cool about like watching from your house and like in the comfort of your own home too. And I know you Payo time. You do the watch parties for sure. So people definitely should go there in the regular season.
Yeah, and like for me, like I live in an area where there's no Rams fans, and to be honest, that's why I do the watch party, because I love watching the game and reacting with Ram fans in the chat, and it's just
Yeah.
it's one of my just greatest joys of being a Rams YouTuber. Yeah,
That's awesome. I always wish I could do that. Because like a lot of people ask me to do it, but like for me, preseason that's fine. Like I don't care about who wins or loses, but for if it's in the regular season, I just get too into it. Like you'll just see me just like staring. Like I won't be saying anything, or I'll just say, "Oh, come on! Like why didn't you catch that?" Whatever. Like I just get a little bit too into it to be able to do that, or like interact with people. I'm already behind on comments tonight, so you can't even imagine what it's like if it's a real regular season game. But Yeah, definitely love watching your watch parties for sure. Kels Chronicles, I think he's a 49ers fan. He says there are a ton of Rams fans that troll the 49er channels. What'd you say? What'd you
I've
say?
seen Cubs before. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. He says there are a ton of Ram fans that troll 49er channels all day, every day. Do y'all experience the same? I rarely tap in, but I'm a subscriber to you, Payo, and others. Thank you so much, Kels, especially with you being a 49ers fan. For me, I can't speak for Payo. He doesn't look like the type of guy to just trash talk everywhere. For me myself though, I don't really enjoy trash talking that much. Like that's just not really that's not my personality. So I'm not somebody who's really trash talking in the comments. I'm not like it gets you nowhere. Uh, I can like debate if fans don't really know a lot about the Rams and they're saying like they have no depth and stuff like that. I can be like in the comments like, hey, no, actually we got depth and like argue for us in that way. But I'm not much of a trash talker. What about you, Payo? Though?
Yeah, I like I definitely experience 49ers fans and other teams that will come and leave nasty, mean comments on my videos. And that's when you put stuff on the internet, that just comes with the territory, especially when it's team centric. And
Yeah,
so I definitely I've had a lot of people trolling my stream or my videos, but I myself like I appear on the NFC West Network, which is kind of like a debate show. To be honest,
it's a good
that's
show.
like I love doing it. It's a lot of fun, but for me, I try to always keep it football. Like I'm not someone that likes to necessarily attack like the character of 49ers fans, because the reality is I believe there's some awesome 49ers fans out there that are great people, and if the 49ers win, I can be happy for them as people, but be super ticked off that their team won at the
Yeah,
same time. And so I'm able to differentiate that way. But I don't know, like it can be fun as long as trash talking is all in good fun. I'm cool with it. But yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm super good at it.
yeah. I don't know. I was just never really raised that way, and like for me, again, trash talking doesn't really get you anywhere. If it's
Yeah.
like just like friendly banter and stuff like that, I can do that. Um, but yeah, I don't understand the people that take like personal shots at people and everything because it's just a game and everything. Like you can joke around and stuff, but I'm not the type of person to do that for sure.
I'll just quick share this story. One of the funniest comment sections I ever had. I did a video when Aaron Donald won Defensive Player of the Year over TJ Watt 2 years ago.
Hmm.
I did a video on it, and I forget where I even titled it. And it got like a bunch of like more than my average view count,
Yeah,
but it was mostly all Steelers fans, and they just like I feel like if you wanted to start a channel that's just like trashing the Steelers, you'd probably do pretty good. Like if you are the type of person that can do that, make this channel, you'll blow up. Because
yeah.
Steelers fans are like the one fan base that if you trash any of their favorite players, they will come for you.
I feel like Steelers and Raiders are that type of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Raiders have a big fan base and they'll let you know about their opinions.
yeah.
Um, so we'll get in the last comments here. If anybody has any other questions to comment here before we sign off, definitely do that. We'll get into these last ones, and then if nothing else comes in, it's been an honor to be able to do this for you guys.
Absolutely.
Um, Johnny Ripple says, "What linemen are you each watching this week?" Cologne really surprised me, looking for him in Jonah Williams. That's a good question for me. I'll just answer quickly. I've like as much like as long as Bruss will be in there, that's just a guy I have my eyes locked on. I always like watching rookie players and everything. For me, like Rams fans are really really high on Bruss in like his performance last week. I think he had his moments and everything like that, but there's obviously plays like he's a rookie where he didn't do the best. There's that one play where he just kind of got dominated by an offensive lineman, almost let up a sack and everything. But for me, it's Bruss. I don't know if Payo, if you have another answer, but as long as he's in there, that's the guy I'm watching for.
I was gonna say Breast just because he's fighting to be a starter. At
Yeah,
least that's what we were led to believe. And you know, I I don't know if he's ready to be a starter, but you
yeah.
definitely you do see the potential there for sure. Yeah, Jonah Williams would be someone else that I'm excited to see heading into the season for sure. Oh, Johnny
Yeah,
Ripple,
and
did you see that comment? That's so sad.
wait,
His son's a Steelers fan.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Well, if it makes any worse, one of my brothers is a Steelers fan too, so that's we have a lot of different fans in our family, but I don't know, but my brother he's a Steelers fan, but he's not super obnoxious about it, so I'm fine with that. Let's see. Beard is looking good, Payo. Going for that Cooper Kupp look. I mean, we haven't talked about that enough. Like, if the Rams have any injuries, just put Payo in there. Like, he looks enough like Cooper Kupp. Just wear a wig or something like that.
I originally I was planning on just growing out my beard. I hope you know, I'm doing a charity live stream September 8th. And I was gonna, you know, if we raised $1,000, I was gonna shave it. But I got a lot of pushback from my subscribers saying don't shave. So the beard might get a trim, because it is getting really bushy. I don't know, and it's pretty hot where I live right now. I don't know. It might get a trim. I don't know if I'll shave it though. So stay tuned.
It's a good cliffhanger there. People will tune in just to see if you did that or not.
Yeah.
I was laughing too because my brother Johnny just said "lame Niner gang." That's a better one than gang or bang Niner gang.
You know what? I see all the people that are good at trash talking in the comments. So maybe some of these people need to start their own Rams YouTube channel.
You definitely should.
We're not good at trash talking.
And then Mr. Movies ×2 says SoFi gets insanely loud. I bet you're excited for that.
I can't wait. I'm not taking earplugs. I'll go deaf. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's all
I am gonna be. I want to lose my voice that day.
It's good. I'll be looking for you in the crowd too. Hopefully, I'll be able to see you. Yeah. Let's see. I hate the 49ers and they hate us. Yeah, it's definitely my least favorite team in the NFL. Yeah. Good emojis there. He says, "Screw the Niners. Wag's gonna deal with them." Yeah. I'm really I'm excited to see.
So excited.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's something we don't talk about enough is that Bobby Wagner is a direct answer to the Niners' run game on us. And all those annoying times when Ram fans like you and me are yelling at the screen of like, they're running it up the middle, up the gut, and it's so frustrating. Yeah.
Either running it up the middle or throwing a slant over the middle, whichever one. Pick your poison. They're gonna do it. It's gonna be interesting for me to see how their offense looks with Lance in there, Trey Lance. Not Lance Mccutchen, guys, but Trey Lance. I think that
the other Lance that people are talking about.
Yeah, exactly. The second best Lance in the NFC West, right? But I think it's going to be interesting to see how their offense looks in that way. Like, if they're going to be as dependent, I still think they're going to be wanting to run the football, but their offense may be looking different without Garoppolo in there. But I feel like I've talked about it so much on this channel, how excited I am to see Bobby Wagner, especially against the 49ers, to the point where people are like getting mad about me talking about him so much. So I'm just not going to say anything else. We'll move on. Sam the Rams fan says, depending on how they come at me, I'll take them to the woodshed. And then he has a little angel there. Yeah, it does depend on how they're talking to you. For me, a lot of the times I'm like, okay, then just like shut it down, but not the biggest trash talker. And then this guy says 40 whiners.
I like Ramilia's comment there. We gotta read that.
Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of the longer one or the
longer one. I think
Okay, as an OG LA Rams fan, we hate the 49ers. The rivalry between LA Rams and San Francisco 49ers is like the Hatfields and McCoys. I love how Donald feels the same way as Deacon Jones, Jack Youngblood about the 49ers. Yeah, that's a good point.
Honestly, when Donald hasn't said a lot of stuff like that before in like an interview, and when he's just like, no, I don't like the Niners, like they don't like us.
Yeah,
like that. I loved it. I love that's what you want to hear from your star player like that.
Yeah. It's like usually Donald keeps his answers really quick, like professional and everything like that. But I was happy to see that. Let's see. Let me just see if there's any other. I know that we're getting behind again, so let me just see if there's any other standout comments. Let me know if you see anything there, Payo. I don't want to get super behind again.
You will lose your voice, isn't it? Okay, I'm hoping.
Payo, John Riffle says Payo can't cut his beard until the Rams have abs. Use a first-round pick again. That may mean that Payo Time will never shave his beard ever.
And the thing is, like, I have a beard.
I was just talking about.
it doesn't grow long; it grows bushy, so it'll just keep getting like rounder.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you should agree to that, Payo, because like you may never end up shaving your beard under Sean McVay.
Yeah.
um, let's see. You will lose your voice. Let me just see if they're jealous of business model, and we know how to not be. And yeah, I think the Rams are really good at managing the cap, but still bringing in everybody. Um, I don't know. I think it is a real thing though, like how NFL fans get mad at the Rams because of like we're kind of like a step ahead of everybody else and we do things differently, and it works out because like people have been saying that the cap's going to catch up to us for like 6 years, and we're still somehow doing it. So it might happen eventually. I don't know, but
Well, it's interesting. I heard Colin Cowherd has said multiple times he's amazed that like you get a team like the Giants who like they have no money, they're in a terrible cap situation, but they're terrible.
mhm.
And then you get a team like the Rams who are signing star player after star player, and they're still 7 million under the cap. Like it goes to show the culture. It goes to show the coaching staff, the front office. It's working like a well-oiled machine right now. And yeah, this is like in terms of Rams history, the best front office that we've seen ever.
Yeah, and I've seen that too. I think today actually I was talking about like both the Giants and the Bears don't have any money,
Yeah,
but they aren't paying a star quarterback. They aren't paying a star edge rusher. They aren't paying like these big players. And then the Rams have everybody, and they're still like, oh, let's go bring in this guy as well. Like
yeah,
I don't know. Again, keep saying I feel like this will be like the best Rams era ever. Like it has a very, very good chance that like 50 years from now, like 30, 40, 50 years from now, we'll be like, that was like the best time to be a Rams fan. It's just cool to like think of that. I feel like we still take it for granted, even if we remind ourselves, but like just think of it that way is really cool.
absolutely.
Okay, so trying to finish this out. I don't want to keep you on too late, Payo, but let's see.
I'm having a great time. Yeah.
Johnny Hamlin says Trey Lance is actually looking pretty good. Not gonna lie, yeah, he in the preseason game he's looking good. I've definitely seen some clips, if like from in training camp and different things like that. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how he does against like starters and everything. I feel like it'll be an adjustment period. I think he's gonna start slower than he does like faster. He'll get better each week like rookies, but I don't know. As long as we can beat the Niners twice, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
And then F. Trey Lance. Um, AD got a cream Lance. Uh, I don't want to say it's all of them, but most 49ers fans are too crazy about them or their team. They're violent. Yeah, I feel like I've met some good 49ers fans. It doesn't mean that I like their team or anything, but I know like my favorite 49ers fan is Jay in the Bay on YouTube.
Awesome.
Very classy guy. Collaborated with him a few times, so it depends on who you meet, but the, if I was in Squabo's situation, who was moving in his case with a Rams fan, if I was like moving in with a 49ers fan, I don't know how I would do, but I don't know. I feel like it just depends on which one you meet. Let's see. Any other interesting comments to finish this out? Because people are going crazy again. We're getting behind again. Let's see if there's anything else. I don't know if I see anything off the
Like
top of my head.
Johnny Ripple is saying, oh, he's been to a few different cities or NFL games in different cities: Denver, Dallas, Oakland, Phoenix. The only issues I've ever had with San Francisco, terrible experience there. Fans are okay. Interesting, Johnny. Huh?
Yeah, there's also a difference between passionate and terrible. Like there can be passionate fans that look annoying and everything, but I feel like I just always have to remind myself, like sometimes if the Rams lose, it's like it ruins the rest of my day. It's like it's still hard not to get that out of it, but it's like it really is just football. It's not anything
Yeah.
like life ending or anything like that. So definitely keeping that in perspective. Okay, let's see. We'll do two more comments here, and we'll pick out the last two.
Which two?
Um, we'll do Stan the Rams fan first, and then we'll wait to see if another one comes in here. It says in about 3 years, and Trey Lance will get tired of the Rams, and he'll pull a Russell Wilson because of Aaron Donald. Yeah, Aaron Donald's a pretty good reason to leave the NFC West. I mean, and Wilson didn't even really escape Donald because we're still gonna play him on Christmas. So happy or Merry Christmas there for Russell Wilson, but Yeah, who knows? We'll see what ends up happening. It's interesting to see how the NFL is like now. It's more frequent for players to move around compared to like just like even like 5-6 years ago. So let's see.
I you know,
Payo, do you see it? Go ahead.
just in terms of the Niners, I'm someone, and I had a video that was very poorly edited a couple weeks ago about the Niners treatment of their quarterbacks. They honestly, like, since Steve Young, they always have like falling outs with every quarterback, like except for their like one off like Nick Mullins, like the journeyman or whatever. But like any of their quarterbacks they have as like a starter, they have like a weird ending to it. And like I know like you go like Jimmy G, it's awkward, it's weird.
Yeah.
Kaepernick, okay, that was a very different thing, right? But like you going before that, like Alex Smith, they traded him away, and he kind of had a weird tenure there. Before him, like the Jeff Garcia era, like who I think is still disrespected by 49ers fans to this day, even though he played well for them. And yeah, just it's something weird about the 49ers front office. So if this trend continues, Trey Lance will have a weird falling out with the 49ers front office.
Yeah, and then you see teams like the Cardinals, like who knows if Kyler Murray's going to stay there? Like it doesn't seem like he completely likes or trusts the organization. So it's interesting. And yeah, it was a good point that you made about the 49ers quarterbacks. Like I didn't really notice that until you made that video, but I don't know. I welcome all the dysfunction in the NFC West as long as it's not the Rams, right?
Hey, we've had our share of dysfunction over the years.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm glad we're not into that.
But Payo, even if you bring up to the 49ers fans about the awkward quarterback endings, they'll just say, "Well, we won 5 Super Bowls, right?" Like that's our classic go-to phrase.
And you did good on you. You did like a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. It's not really relevant. So here we go. We'll do the last comment here for Johnny Ripple. I have no idea what it is, but it's a long one, so we'll do that one. He says, my son was playing in a baseball tournament, went to Levi Stadium when it was being built. I slipped through the fence and took a leak on SoFi or on the stadium. It was dumb. It was dumb, but I meant it.
That's hilarious.
What in the world? I thought he was joking at first.
You're kidding me. My favorite part of that is he admits it was dumb, but I.
It's just football, but you'll go to lengths like that. At first, I thought I was reading it as like there's a leak in the stadium, like they didn't build it. I was like, oh no, wait, he didn't do that, right? That's a good one to end on, actually.
That is one of the best comments I've ever seen on a live stream. Oh man,
we should definitely clip that and post
clip that. Standalone video of that, Johnny.
That shows dedication. If people say he's a bandwagon, he can just bring that up.
Yeah, that is fandom right there. Oh man.
But yeah, guys, this has been an amazing live stream. So thank you so much, Payo, for coming on and talking some Rams with me. It was great to be able to do this. Yeah, it was great to be able to do this because we haven't done it in a long time. Really fun, just be able to talk some Rams with you. I know being in a family for me is a big family, but there's no other person in our family that likes the Rams. It's hard to find space to talk about them, so great to be able to talk to you about it. Definitely one of my favorite Rams YouTubers for sure. So thank you so much for doing this for me.
Oh, it was my pleasure. And likewise, definitely, you're one of my favorite Rams content creators. Excited to see what video. I have bell notifications turned on for you for sure. And yeah, it's always a pleasure to talk Rams with you and the chat. Honestly, give it up for the chat. So
yeah.
You guys were
Sorry,
awesome.
we were a little behind there.
Yeah.
20 minutes behind, but
yeah,
that's gonna do it for this stream, guys. Thank you to everybody who commented, everybody who just watched and supported the channel, talked Rams with us. This makes it really fun. Thank you once again, Payo, for coming on, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Horns up and God bless.
Horns up. Let's go Rams.